All right, our next presenter this evening. Thank you. It's Nate, and Nate started Free Geek Providence in 2008 and started Indie Cycle in 2010 to reach a broader scope of recycling in Rhode Island. In December 2010, he created Vigilante Recycling Movement, which has thus far collected over 9,000 pounds of e-waste to be donated to Goodwill Industries. There you go, Nate.
Hey, everybody. Can anybody not hear me? Oh, good. I'll use this. So, vigilante recycling. It's a very simple concept. It's the process of saving e-waste from vandals, scrappers, unethical recyclers, and recycles that recycle everything. We don't want to recycle everything. That's the whole point. And the method that we use is to pick it up, make a call, and get it to someone, like Goodwill. Now, I started Free Geek 2 years ago because there was this huge disparity between people who have computers who don't have computers. And what I was finding is a lot of the stuff that we had, we couldn't really recycle. We couldn't really use, we couldn't give to schools. But we donated a lot of computers. Over 600 computers in 18 months were donated to several different nonprofits right here in Rhode Island.
Way to go.
And more. We're still working on it. So I started Indie Cycle this year because I wanted to reach out and get these things that we couldn't use for schools, that we couldn't use for nonprofits somewhere. And we want to get them done right. And what I'm going to show you tonight is how to get that done right and how you can make a choice on how you can take your e-waste and put it together right. So what I started doing is I started Indie Cycle, and this is where Robin comes in. Robin owns Good Point Recycling. In the 80s, he was in the Peace Corps, and then he went into the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, which is one of the first states to ban CRT export. So with Robin's help, what I did is we started funding all these recycling events throughout Rhode Island. Now, in the recycling events we did, in a matter of about 6 or 8 weeks, we took in 60,000 pounds of e-waste, okay? This is all computers, monitors, TVs, anything we could think of. But one particular event that was coming up, I won't show you which one, it was so badly, like we just didn't advertise it very well. So I literally went out in my truck, which I'll show you in a second, and you'll laugh at me, so don't laugh at me. I went out personally with volunteers. I went out as much as I could and literally went out and picked up as much stuff out of Providence as I could. In a $100 van. $100 van. This was 3 weeks ago. You cannot close my garage door without tripping over something now. It has become very big. I've now got 11 tons of e-waste in my basement right now. But this is what I found. 3 miles up the road. I can't take that. It's damaged, it's broken, it's glass, it's all disgusting, and I have to call that stuff in so the Department of Public Works can pick that up. So that's bad. Now, you'll start seeing through the slides here, this won't change much, and this won't change much. Well, that will, but we have an unverifiable downstream. They export bad stuff. They work with nonprofits, but you'll see this very, very famous photo. Anybody recognize that? That's bad. That's what happens in China when unethical recyclers ship it to China. Now this happened and BAN came along. Wow, BAN is great, and we use BAN here in Rhode Island, by the way, okay? BAN uses Rhode Island Resource Recovery. There's a lot of e-stewards here. It costs a lot of money to be an e-steward. They work with recycling events, they do nonprofits, they provide jobs. But 1% of everything that goes to BAN is reused. So where's the problem?
99%.
It's still bad. Ghana, Nigeria, China, where does it go? To the bad guys. because ban stopped all export. Now when we come into the next slide, you'll see the WR3A. World Reuse, Repair, and Recycling is kind of self-explanatory, right? But it's EPA approved. We have zero prison and convict labor, which is extremely important. 40% reuse in most cases, which means that everything is reused. And it goes to places like Las Chicas Bravas, the brave women in Mexico. It's a co-op. It goes from Good Point in their facility, and it goes down to Las Chicas Bravas. And what you can see in the next slide is they actually have people from Vermont go down to Las Chicas Bravas and back and forth for job training. EPA approved ISO 14001 job training. RetroWorks in Mexico. Okay, and you can actually see here, this is a cafe in Mexico that they set up for satellite Wi-Fi with the computers that they're building. This is a guy from Vermont coming down to teach them how to do stuff, and that's their board, okay? Now, I can't tell you where this is, but in China, ISO 14001 training, EPA training, they teach people how to do it environmentally. They take every single CRT monitor we do, we give them, they test it every single way, and it goes through this process. This is what it comes in as. This is what it starts out as when they take it apart. They take this board that costs about as much as a clock radio and puts it into here and sells it all over the world. What that means is that people all over Africa, India, all over the world can purchase a computer/TV, which will pick up any signal, analog, digital, no matter what, for less than 40 bucks. IndyCycle brings it to Goodwill. They have a Department of Labor training program that I provide all the goods to and donate to. And then Goodwill gives it to Good Point Recycling. But you guys all recycle. I want you to think about when you recycle, who are you recycling with? Where is your e-waste going? Who is the recycler? Do recycling contracts hinder public recycling events? There's a lot more stuff up there, I'm sorry about that.